Well, in everything we do, every thought we have, every word we speak, every action we take, we are actually deciding on a daily basis in all experiences who we really are. And that is why I wanted to take time each day to remember what I call spirit. Spirit is not a religion, for those of you all who are saying that I'm trying to preach religion. It is not a religion. It is just about deciding what is really great about yourself and remembering to live that way. And as you're about to see, the challenges that we face in life often force us to discover hidden parts of ourselves, the parts that are good, that bring us greatness, and to a greater sense of awareness about who we really are. Don Snyder was a professor who seemed to have it all. Then one day, he lost it, or so he thought. Take a look, Don.
We come to our spiritual side through failure and loss. Well, I was born in 1950 and very much a typical baby boomer, one of the many people in my generation who would go anywhere, really, for a better job, for more success, for security. And I became a college professor, and I was writing books, and my life was barreling ahead the way I'd always expected it would. And then I lost my job through a simple tenure decision. Thought I'd find another one right away, but in fact went through 3 years of unemployment. So I fell, if you will. I took the classic American fall from being a distinguished college professor to a man who showed up at the hardware store at 7 o'clock in the morning with the other people who were painting houses for a living and building people's porches. And in that fall, I had to confront myself as a man who could no longer see himself climbing up a ladder towards some point into the future where success would finally be attained. I was just a simple man painting houses, and I began getting up early in the morning before I would go off and paint. At 4 o'clock in the morning was my rising time, and writing letters to my children to explain what had happened to me, why it is they would never be raised in one of those idyllic university towns, what I had done to their lives. And my letters were filled with guilt and apology at the beginning. And then the letters began to be filled with just the love that I felt for them and the moments that we were sharing with each other as I was a house painter, as we were living in reduced circumstances. And those letters describing those moments became a book called The Cliff Walk, which changed all of our lives and set me on a new path and a new direction for my life. But I found those words in the stillness, the pre-dawn light of each winter morning in Maine, just listening for the voice inside me, a voice that I never once heard when I was a successful college professor. I believe that if we can hear those words deep within us in our spirit and follow them in our ordinary life, that maybe each one of us is capable of some kind of masterpiece. I was thinking that a teacher might then find the compassion and the understanding to say something, to speak a sentence or write something on a student's paper that will shape that person's life. And that might be the masterpiece that that teacher was never dreamed he or she was capable of. I think each one of us has within us the potential for a masterpiece, but it originates in that spirit that dwells within each one of us.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Don. The book again is called The Cliff Walk. The Cliff Walk. We'll be right back. Back in a moment. That was beautiful. As we've been hearing, one of the reasons people don't enjoy the holidays is the pressure they feel to spend so much money that they don't have on people that they really care about. Well, sometimes the most precious things, you've heard us say it many times, really don't cost that much. Often the best gifts, often they come from the heart. Don Snyder was an out-of-work dad for 3 years. He wrote about that terrifying experience in a book called Cliff Walk. Take a look at how in one of his darkest moments, his spirit helped him find a way to give his son and himself the perfect gift.
I've been richly rewarded as a parent since I began this spiritual journey. I followed this spiritual voice in many directions as a parent, and I give one simple example. We were in the midst of a beautiful winter, and the children's friends belonged to a ice skating league in town, and I didn't have the money to enroll my kids. And one morning I was writing a letter of apology to my little boy, Jack, who was 5 years old at the time, saying, Jack, I haven't had a job in 3 years. I don't have the $200 it's going to take to get you a chance to skate this winter. And something said to me, well, listen, build your own rink. Build it in the driveway, you dummy. You know, you don't have to pay somebody else $200. And I thought about it for 2 or 3 days and then found myself building this rink out of a blue tarp and some 2x4s that cost, I think, $48, and taught all the children to skate that winter on that rink. And there's a moment that I recall where I'm out there late at night under the stars skating with my little boy. I'm holding him up, he's holding me up, and suddenly we stop and he looks up and he points to the sky. He says, you're older than I am, Daddy, so you'll die first. But you see that star up there? Wait, when you die, wait for me on that star and I'll meet you there. And I thought, what a tremendous gift that was from him to me, and it all began in the pre-dawn light, writing a letter to him explaining how sorry I was that I couldn't afford to put him in a skating league. I'd like to persuade people that there is a very practical side to all this, that the spiritual journey, which begins in stillness within us, someplace deep inside us, finds its way through the practical world in which we live, and readily finds its way once we learn to trust it.
Isn't that a great story? Beautiful story. The book is called Cliff Walk. Cliff Walk. We've been getting a lot of mail from viewers telling us how you remember your spirit, and we love showing some of those on the air. If you do have a special story to tell that exemplifies spirit or something you do regularly to remember your own, again, you can write and tell us about it. Send a picture of yourself, too. Write us at P.O. Box 617880, Chicago 60661. We'll be right back.